All right, how's it going? So it's Saturday, around 5 p.m. I was actually just kind of playing around with this, and figured why not do it live. So not sure how long I'm going to be playing around with the timer that we were working on for the past few streams, but I had some kind of, I don't know. I was going to bed last night and was trying to think about ways to improve it and make it look better. And I had a few cool ideas, and I was getting psyched about it. So I just figured, I'll spend a little bit of time playing around with it today. So for those of you who haven't been watching the previous streams, I've done a few streams now building this countdown timer example, which kind of has some gestures involved, and it real simple app in terms of it's just a countdown timer. But I've been playing around with trying to make it as pretty as I can manage. I've been following this mock-up I found on Dribbble, and I took it in a very slightly different direction, but for the most part it's inspired by this mock-up. Hey Joe Energy, how's it going? Suhas says it's Saturday, relax. Yeah, I am relaxing. This is just I was thinking about it, wanted to code it a little bit, and I felt bad doing it not live, just because I kind of want people to see it to its conclusion. So figured I'd turn on OBS and see what happened. So this is kind of where we were yesterday, I guess, when we stopped streaming. I've done a little bit since then, a little bit of refactoring, but nothing crazy. But I have a new idea that I'd like to do. So the idea is basically the tick marks. I didn't like how I was just adding up all these little points as I went to more and more minutes. And so what I'm thinking is that at any given time, there's 1, 2, or at any given time, there's going to be 2 or 3 lines for every tick mark. And so there's going to be the main one, which is the wheel, and then I'm going to have some kind of faded out ones further out. And then potentially as minutes add up, I'll have some smaller ones in the middle, but then they'll animate in as I cross this border here. So as I go from 0 minutes to 1 minute, instead of it just flipping like that immediately, I'm thinking that the tick marks will kind of animate in and sort of fade out, so it'll give it a more fluid effect, and I think that'll look pretty nice. And then I have some idea for some other animations that we can do as it's counting down. Let's do this first. So let's see. So one thing I did is I created this draw tick extension function, which just simplifies some things, just to keep the math kind of localized. So this is similar to draw line, but it's dealing in angles and radii instead. So that's just a little bit easier. Oh, thank you. Sorry. I hate it whenever I make that mistake, and I'm trying to get better at it, but I should really get a solid system for y'all to warn me. So that kind of helps make the logic feel a little more concise and simple. And so I'm going to get rid of this draw points thing, and there's basically going to be 3 lines for each tick that are potentially drawn. with some logic. So first, let's see, what do we want to do? Let's try and write some of that down. So I added this minute transition, which is an animated value, which is driven by the minutes number. So as we go over here, it's good that value is going to animate from 0 to 1 as that happens, and then vice versa. It'll go from 1 to 0 here, and it'll do that with the physics of a spring, which will have a nice physical feel to it. And so I'm going to use that value to animate the position of the lines. So let's figure out what that'll look like. I'm going to get rid of this code here. I'm actually going to go back to using start radius here. I just want to kind of save that, so I'm gonna throw it down there. But what I want to do is define some constants. So I tried to draw some some stuff on paper here. I'm not sure how easy that is to see. It's like it's not very good resolution at all, but so I'm going to define 4 constants, which will be in between 0 and 1, and it's going to be based on, or like it'll be a multiplication factor for the radius, which is basically size.width/2, and so that's all getting here. And so basically these are the 2 that we've defined so far, but we're going to define 2 more, and actually maybe 3 more. So I'm going to define a value that I'm just going to call epsilon, which will be like basically I'm going to define these 4 points in space, which will define 3 lines. But I don't want to start one line and end another line at the same point. Like I want them to have like a little bit of a gap. And so I'm just going to call that gap epsilon. And I'm going to make it 5. Let's see, tick width is 9. Let's start with the tick width, because that might be nice to have that be the same, but I'm not sure. And then so let's name these lines A, B, and C. Here, I'll do that. So A, B, C. Oh no, that's probably not good because I want start and end. Okay, so we'll just label the points A, B, C, and D. So let's call it radius A. Radius A, radius B, C, and D. And so we've kind of already been using B and C. And so I'll keep the values that I had for those, which was 0.45 and 0.75. And then I'm going to do, let's say 3.5 for that. So this is going to be like a pretty small line. This will be a bigger one. And then this one, I'm actually going to go above 1 here, because on the side it's actually going to extend past the edge of the screen. Trying to think what a good, maybe 1.5. Let's try that. Okay, so First thing we're gonna do is let's create these radii. So val. So let's call unit radius is going to be the width of the screen divided by 2. And then we will have, let's just give them just like the single letter names, just because that'll help with how I have it written down here. But so that'll be unit radius times radius A, is that what it was? Radius A. Okay. It's not gonna like me using uppercase for these, so I guess I'll use lowercase. Unit radius. Okay, B. So then we'll do that for C and D. All right, so there's our kind of 4, these are constant lengths, and they won't ever change really unless the size of the whole widget changes, which isn't likely to happen. But so we're gonna define those in this like cached area. And then let's see. So we've got all this other stuff, that's fine. Trying to remember where I end up using this. Okay, so if we change this to B and C, then essentially nothing should change. The difference is, so let's go ahead and start doing this. We basically want B plus epsilon and B minus epsilon. And I just realized that because of the epsilon spacing, we're gonna be the spacing between the lines will actually be 2 epsilon, which is more than we want based on how I defined those constants. So I'm gonna change epsilon to be 4. Okay. So now I can get rid of these. All right, so now this logic ends up being pretty easy to wrap your head around. You know, we basically go through each tick. We get, you know, an angle, a theta, and then we. I should probably come up with rules about, like, you know, maybe I'll name something theta only if it's in radians, to make some of these less confusing, because these are the same, but one's radians, one's not. So I'm gonna name this end angle instead of end theta because the angle is in degrees. So that'll make that a little easier to follow. Okay, so I'm just gonna run this real quick and make sure that, you know, this kind of still works as we expected. It should. It should be about the same. The line width is going to be a little bit different, but that's about it. All right. First build of the day. Guess it's taking a little bit longer. Curious how many people are going to end up showing up for the stream. It's like kind of a weird time, but also, I don't know. I did send out like a little tweet, but it was like a reply. Probably not a lot of people saw it. Okay, so looks like it still works, which is great. Cool. So, Android Studio seems like it's going a little bit slow. I actually have several copies of Studio open. I'm going to close the other one here. Uh-oh. Okay. So that all worked. Now, next, what I'd like to do is, so we're still just drawing that one line. So let's draw the other two lines. So that'll be here, and I'm going to use the off brush for both of them. And then this is going from A to B. You know, it might be easier actually. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. So maybe I'll just define epsilon here. Actually, no, I don't want that because I'm going to be doing some interpolation, and I want that to happen here, not elsewhere. Okay, so we'll keep that there. So this one's going from A to B, and then let's do this one from C to D. And actually this one, so the starting one, I'm going to be using the colored brush, and then for the outer one, I'm going to be using the off brush, which will be a slighter color. Hey Hitesh, how's it going? Okay, so let's try that out. And so we haven't introduced any, oh, interesting. Oh, because it, B plus epsilon, C minus. So it looks like maybe the epsilon's not enough. They're overlapping. Okay, so let's choose a bigger epsilon. So maybe the original 9 was actually good. And then I think I'm gonna maybe do, let's do like 0.38, so like a little bit further out. Actually, I'm gonna do 0.4, then I'm gonna make this maybe 0.48. And this might be about right, but maybe a little bit smaller. We'll go there. Get rid of that. Okay, let's see how that worked out. All right. I like the spacing with the inner and outer. Pretty happy with that. So now what I'm gonna do is try and animate one into the other. So this will be a little bit tricky, but let's see how it'll work out. So I'm only gonna draw this first one if minutes is greater than 0. And so let's see. So what I want to do is I want to think about how this is going to animate. Because we have this minute transition value, which is roughly what minutes is, except it's going to animate, you know, towards it as it changes over time. And so what I want to do is I want to make it look like the middle line, the line from B to C, is animating to the line A to B. So let's get a transition here. All right, so the start radius. This is going to be some value between A and B. A plus epsilon and B plus epsilon, because these are both the starting points. And the percentage between those 2 points that it's going to be is going to be minutes minus minute transition. Daniel says, "Good evening, Leland. Thanks for all the work in Compose." You're welcome. Thanks for saying so. I think I need to import a library to get the lerp function. It's super simple to write, but might as well just import the one that already exists. Okay, so lerp, for those of you who don't know, lerp is just it's a function in Compose we've defined a lot of them, but lerp it's basically like a shorthand name for linear interpolation, and you give it like two points or two values, and it'll interpolate based on the third value, which is expected to go from 0 to 1 between the two. And so in Compose, we've defined this for a bunch of different data types, and they're data types that you can imagine animating from one value to another. Hey Abdullah, how's it going? Yeah, it's been a while. So I stopped streaming for a while, but just the past few days, or the past week, I've been doing it more, basically since Compose Beta launched. And yeah, I've been really busy kind of in life for various different reasons, and I've been kind of off streaming, but I've kind of been missing it, and I'm definitely going to be doing more moving forward, or at least that's the hope. Yeah, so with the Android Dev Challenge that's going on, I thought it'd be cool for me to stream some me doing some of the challenges, even though I can't really participate or anything. But all right, so let's see how this works. So these will be the start positions and end positions. So A to B, B to C. I actually realized I'm gonna need to do, well, maybe I could animate these out. I kind of like them being there, but maybe I'm wondering if I need more lines to fade out, because what's gonna happen is this line's gonna go like that, but as soon as this line goes like that, it means this one's not gonna be drawn anymore, and this one's gonna animate there. But I kind of want to show this one fading out. Not really sure. Let's just do this one. We'll kind of figure that out. Okay, so let's also figure out what minutes transition, if this is going to work. So when minutes goes from 0 to 1, minutes will become 1, and minute transition will slowly get to 1. And so that means that this fraction is going to go from 1 to 0. Which I think is what we want. But we'll find out. So I'm just gonna put these in there. To not have a ton of variables defined, because I'm like running out of names for things, but let's see how that works. And then there's going to be a similar thing here, except it'll be from B to C. And C, D. Except I think this one we're gonna have to define a little more complicated, because this will, I guess the animations are gonna be different if they're going, if minutes was incrementing up or down, but let's just increment it up for now. Yeah, Abdullah said, welcome back, glad that you're back. Yeah, thanks, appreciate that. Daniel says, how I make track of multiples like a remember mutable state list, state of list of updated text when the position of list changed. So I'm not sure, Daniel, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, but there's an API called mutable state list of, which it's a mutable list that is built in a way that the additions and subtractions to that list will be observed by compose in a similar way as state is. You can use that. You can also just use an immutable list as state, and then every time the list changes, you just feed in a whole new list. So not sure if that answers your question, but okay. Yeah. All right, this definitely will not be complete, but let's see what it looks like. It even comes close to what we want. So one thing I would like to do, which I'm not really sure the right way to do it. Oh, interesting. Okay, so that minutes. That doesn't look quite right. I'm not sure. Oh, I think we should add epsilon outside of this. So interesting. So actually, it seems like maybe I should define it in here. It's a little bit weird. Let me give that a shot, because that'll actually clean some stuff up if I can do that. And then this will be minus epsilon. Oh. So actually, I think this was the issue. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. So let me try that. I think that will be more correct. What I was saying is I'm not quite sure. I think there's probably like a good way to do this with some Canvas APIs, graphics APIs, but I'm not really sure what they are. So what I'd like to do is have, like, it's almost like in Photoshop, it's like a layer mask. But basically I want to draw these things on this canvas, but then I want to like say that everything I've drawn is going to like fade out with like this radius opacity kind of thing, so that the kind of like further out like parts of these lines, I want those to just kind of fade away, so that the edge of them isn't really like a solid thing, so it's like a little more fluid. But I'm not sure the best way to do that. Maybe someone watching knows and can let me know. But all right, so let's see what happens when I go past 1 minute here. What should happen is it'll trigger an animation where these lines will kind of like come in a little bit. Yeah, okay. So that's kind of cool. So you can see like it kind of has the effect right now, like it's just resetting every time. And I don't want that. I want it to feel like it's just continuing to go in and in and in. And so, oh, that looks pretty good though. Like, so I'm pretty happy with like the overall plan. We just need to make it so that this animates correctly in both directions, and that the lines feel like they aren't disappearing and going somewhere else. And so I think we'll need 5 lines for that. Actually, so I'm gonna do it with 4. I think I'm gonna get rid of this outer line. Yeah, I think so. So let's get rid of that. But I'm gonna need one more. So let's just handle the to start off, I'm just gonna focus on the animation where minutes is changing in the positive direction. So it's this. And so that already kind of looks pretty good. The only thing we need to do, so I'm gonna add a line before this, which will appear to be the first line, getting even closer to the center, but it's also gonna animate away in opacity. So, and I only need to do that if minutes is greater than 0. We're gonna do that. And then, like, I might need a value before A. Like, it'll be interesting if I want to see what this looks like. So if I just do the start of the line, and instead of moving it, if I just animated the opacity, so draw line should have alpha. So I'm going to add alpha to this. Float. That right. Stroke cap. No, I'm going to name it. Okay, and then I'll need to pass that in, which for this we're just gonna say is 1. And this one's gonna be 1 as well. Oh, and actually, I guess for this I only care about this one if minutes is greater than 1. Yeah. All right, and so then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna animate the opacity instead of the position. And so this transition goes from 1 to 0. Right, and yeah, in the positive direction it goes from 1 to 0, which coincidentally is like exactly what we want opacity to do. So I actually don't need to lerp anything. Forgot a bracket here. Yeah. All right. That would be sweep. So I'm curious what this looks like. Let's find out. I think this will look kind of good actually. Okay, so we go around, and then when we hit 1, yeah, okay. So those kind of popped in there, and so then this is the trick. We're gonna find out. Okay. So it turns out I don't really like that. I think it does need to move. So I think if we do this animation and we move the position, I think it'll look pretty good. So I'm gonna put those there. And so we need one more point. And I'm actually I want to keep the whole alphabet thing. So I'm gonna just rename these. See. Right. And then this is going to be A. And I got to rename these as well. Renaming, oh, weird. Okay, renaming B is not finished yet. That's what it said. Okay, enter. So this is going to be radius E. D. All right, so the new radius A, let's call that 0.3. Okay. Where am I using it? Down here. So then this just becomes radius A. And we just kind of switch these by 1. A, B. All right, so I think this will look pretty good. Let's give this a shot. Hey Gabe, how's it going? Tim says hi together. Yeah, hey, how's it going? All right, so we go and then we cross 1 and it animates in, which is cool. And then we go, and then so now the inner line, it should animate in further, but it should kind of disappear because we're animating the opacity as well, which we see happen. It's kind of a, doesn't look quite right. I'm trying to figure out why. Seems to go too far. is that? Start. So I wonder if we just animate the end position. That could be one way to do it. Or no, you would, what would you do? So you'd squeeze in. So the start position would be constant, which in this case is going to be b plus epsilon. Oh, wait. Oh, that was the problem. So this is supposed to be from B to C. Okay. Whoops. Yeah. All right, let's see what that looks like. Daniel Oliveira says, I created a countdown for the challenge. My app, all digits will be animated. For that, I created a lot of text. You're tracking the digits in a list, but when I change the list, all of my composables are recomposed. There's a way to remember an item in a specific position in the list. Update the right text. Yeah, I'd have to see your code to see exactly what's happening. Because I guess you could be doing this a couple of different ways. Key might be what you're looking for, but I guess it kind of depends. Okay, so first animation looks good. Now here we go. I think it looks better, but something's still going on that I don't like. I'm not really sure what it is. Oh. That's pretty weird. Okay. Maybe B to C. I wonder if it's too far away, like it's 0.3. Like maybe this needs to be something a bit closer, like 0.36. I think that might help. I think that looks pretty good. Honestly, I'm not really sure. Let's slow this down a bit. So I think this is, I guess spring is what I want here. Actually, here, let's say, what I'm able to do here. Okay. I'm gonna change this to a tween of like 3 seconds. That's neat. And then this one. Okay. That actually looks pretty good. Oh, wait, what's happening there? Okay. Settle. All right. Now I want to see this one. So when it goes, yeah, that's pretty good. All right. Okay, I'm happy with that. So last thing is I want this one on the outside. I want that one to animate in with opacity as well. So that's this one. Is that right? Yeah, okay. So this one, I feel like I need to, let's save this off in T. T. And then now that I think about it more, I know I've flip-flopped on this like 5 times now, but I think moving the epsilons here is okay. So basically this will be plus epsilon. this will be minus epsilon. And then I can get rid of all of these, and that'll clean it up quite a bit. So I can move these lerps onto one line. Okay. Isn't there a shortcut for this? What is this? Put arguments on one line. That's what I want. Nope. Those too many arguments. Or wrong arguments. That one. Okay. There we go. Move these. Okay. So let's see, when I cross that threshold, when I'm going positively, the third line ends up being the one I want to animate here. So let's see, and then so I think it's 1 minus t that I'm going to want here. Yeah. Let's try that. Tim says there's a plugin, I think it was called Constructor Fill, that you can move all arguments to single separate lines. Interesting. Yeah, I think so. That's like a that's a, I guess you all can't see the drop down here, but I think Studio has a quick action to put arguments on one line or on separate lines, which is nice. So let's see what we got here. Start animating. So this is the first one, which looked good. And then the second one. Nice. All right. Uh-oh. What happened there? Interesting. It looks like there's not clamping going on here. This might only be an issue with the tween, I'm not really sure, but I can probably just fix that here. So we want the minimum of 0 and 1, and the maximum of 0 and that. Actually, I think maybe the more correct way, I think there's like a coerce in function. What's that? Yeah, coerce in 0 and 1. That's the better way to do this. Yeah. And I'll just do that there so that everything gets the benefit of that. That's a real smart name you got there. What do you mean by that, Brainy Brow? What do you mean it's a real smart name? Okay. So that was looking pretty good. Now what we're gonna have to do is the animation in the opposite direction. Yeah, I'm liking this a lot. So when we go this way, it's gonna be pretty weird. So okay, that's one. Yeah. All right. So at the very least, what we're gonna need to do is have a fourth line here. So yeah, because what happens is, so basically, so this one is only needed when, so I think we need a direction. Oh, Brainy Brown, you're talking about my username. Gotcha. Well, thank you, I guess. A lot of people make fun of me for that name, but I don't know. I've been sticking with it. Free snacks at Google. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, most tech companies out here, at least in the valley, are, you know, they've all got in-office perks like, you know, snacks and food and stuff like that. And it's, you know, it's really nice. But Google's by no means an exception out here in that regard. You know all about those hoodies. Yeah. Pretty happy on a pat on the back. Yeah. Okay. So I think we want some indication of direction. So like, let's see if minutes is decreasing, then let's say we go from 1 to 0. Then minutes will be 0, and minute transition will go from 1 to 0. So that means it's going to go from -1 to 0 in that case. So I think what we can do is we can, okay. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to say direction equals if t is greater than 0. So let's just call it the direction up. So if it's going up, then, well, okay. So the easier way to say this is it's going up if minutes is greater than minute transition. So that's a Boolean. And then T here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this, I'm just gonna take the absolute value of this. Okay. And what I want to do first is just see what happens when we have this as so we're not using up at all, but let's just see what happens. Brain Brow says, is that Android Studio? I just died on my Debian build. Building MacBook Lord app. Yeah, it's Android Studio Canary. Okay, so got that. So those still work as expected. Now let's go backwards, which you know, this isn't necessarily surprising, but it's just the same animation that we get going positive. Yeah, okay. So let's see. So the first line is only needed when we're going up. So let's do that. And then this will only be needed if we're going down. And since there's, so if we're going down, yeah, this will always be needed if we're going down. And so what I actually want to do is I'm gonna do one minus this. So the transition is it's always gonna go from 0 to 1. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. We'll keep that there. Okay, so if it's going down, then the values are always going to be off. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so at that point, the values are all gray, so we can just use that. And then it's gonna go C to D, T to E. I think this is what we want. Let's give that a shot. Chow says, will the source code eventually be published to GitHub? Some APIs are new to me. Yeah, I definitely want to publish this. I'm not sure when. I've like been debating with myself about if I should wait until after the contest is over or not. I don't think it matters too much. So I don't know. Maybe when I'm done, I'll put it up, or I don't know. Maybe after this session. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I probably should. Okay, so positive direction still works. Let's go in negative direction. Okay, so I'm only really focused on this outer ring here. So let's see. I think that worked actually. Let me see. Okay, I want to go back up. The idea here is this outer ring should grow outwards, which it does. I guess I only need maybe I don't need 4 lines. Maybe 3 is enough, because it's always just going to be one transitioning. So maybe that's how I should do it. Okay. So let's think about this. I think maybe we should define this transition a little more thoughtfully. So if we think of it as like 2 distinct animations, there's going out and then there's coming in. Now the problem is like the identity of the lines is different in those cases. So like maybe I should just think of it as 2 whole separate code paths. All right, why don't we do that? Let's just split this up. All right, so then we've got, this is the, because when it's going up, things moving in. So then that one's only needed then, okay. So let's define the else case. I think if we define these separately, then perhaps at the end we can, I'll be able to see like a more obvious unification of them, but having trouble with that right now. So So if we're going down, then the lines are moving outwards, which means that the first line is going to go from B to C. So this is B to C and B to E. And then this one will go from C to D, or D to E. But we do still need all right, so I guess I just kind of wasted my time doing that. So I actually do still want all three. But then, so let me go back. So the transition, we're going down. So let's say minutes is 0. And minute transition goes from 1 to 0. We go from -1 to 0, this is 1 to 0. Okay, so we're always going from 1 to 0. T is, which is a little bit weird, this is kind of backwards, but in fact, I am gonna tweak that. It's gonna be kind of annoying to change though. Do I really want to change it? Yeah, I think it's just easier to think about. So this is B, this is A, C, B. This is going to be 1 minus. C. C to B. D. C. D to E. C to D. Okay, so that should be equivalent. And so now, so again, I'm animating these lines out. And this first one, when do I need to animate that in? So only if minutes is greater than 1. So that stays the same. And so then that is all correct now. Okay, and so then this next one is going to be, it's going to have alpha 1 at all times. So that one's correct. And this happens if minutes is greater than 0. Oh, so this is different now. So this is minutes greater than 0, and then this always happens. Oh, no, okay. Maybe, maybe not. So then this one is always going to be the off brush. We're doing C to D, D to E. That's correct. Doing that. Alpha 0. Okay. Let's see if this works. It might. Who knows? Danielle Alvarez says, do you have some news about the Android Studio for Apple Silicon? Sorry, no, I don't. I'm sure the team's thinking about it. I'm just not plugged into those things. That stream says so many lines. Yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do to simplify the code later, but for now, you know, kind of keeping it this way. Okay, so it looks like that when we go up, this one is wrong. So this needs to be 1 minus t. Which is all right. So now let's see when we go backwards. Oh, that was weird. Okay. So that doesn't look right. So the opacity of this one goes the other way. Okay. So this seems wrong. So 1 minus t. No, but that's... So did I add this at some point? I'm not sure. This one should always be there. Guess this was probably taking me here. Yeah. All right, so that's a little bit. All right, hold on a second. So let's say that I'm gonna get this animated value here. Does this just give me a state afloat? Yeah, it does. Okay. I think maybe one way to do it. Oh, okay. So let's assume that up is what's going to happen by default. And in that case, we are going to have only one line, and it'll be this one. And alpha is going to be 0. Oh, I see the problem. Or no. Yeah, okay. Is this 1 minus t? It's gonna be 0 by default, and then it's gonna animate out. So okay, so that was incorrect. Let me write this down real quick. So A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so this will be visible. T is 1. This should be 0. Okay, I think that will have the right resting state. All right, that's looking good. So we cross over. First up animation looks good. Second up animation looks good. All right, so now we go down. Okay, and down. Okay, so a few problems. So one is when we're going down, we don't have any of them that are determined by our drag position, and that is going to be this one. And we do actually always want that one to draw. And then this is just going to be if it's greater than 0. See how that works. Up, up, down, down. Okay, looks good. I'm pretty pumped about that. Okay, so now let's get rid of our slow tween. should make it look a bit better. Yeah, so the Walking Fridge asks, hey, can you explain what you're trying to achieve? It's first time joining the stream. So thanks for asking. Basically, so we're building a countdown timer app, which is the Android Dev Challenge of the week, and I'm just kind of doing it for fun. I was kind of going off of a mockup like this one, which I found on Dribble, and you know, basically per this mockup, I can the circle kind of indicates the number of seconds, and if I hit play here, then the seconds will kind of run down. So this is like a basic timer app. Instead of this mockup, which has these like, you know, the screen on the left here is where you define like the amount of time that you want the timer to run for. I thought it'd be neat to just have that be like a wind up wheel, similar to like an iPod kind of click wheel. And so right now I'm kind of defining some animations to make like that look neat whenever you cross like around the circle a full time. And so we've just been kind of wrangling that a bit. And we're kind of at like a pretty good stopping point. Like I'm pretty happy with how this is looking like for the winding action. Like that's pretty neat. So I think there might be, you know, a little bit more tweaking that could be done here, but in general, I'm happy with that. The next thing I want to do is an animation for when it's like counting down. And I'm not really sure what to do for that yet. Let me know if any of you have any ideas. Okay. So I've added in the code here. Let me move over to Android Studio. I've added this second transition in addition to the minute transition. And so the second transition could be a good one to use for the countdown, since that's kind of changing with the countdown. Not really sure what would be good here. So the Walking Fridge says the length of the tick could match the milliseconds. Yeah, that's a good idea. Like it could just kind of, you know, start decreasing, you know, kind of rapidly each time. So Daniel Oliveira says slide in and slide out. Which part would be sliding? I'm not sure I understand the suggestion. I think there's a few things here that could be sliding. You know, another thing that I think would be neat is, so as I'm like winding up here, it like each minute, right? Like we're kind of like filling up this minute here. And we could like make the background gradient a function of the minute. So like it could kind of be like growing in intensity like with each one, and then kind of reset there. It's like you know, so it kind of starts off small and then going, and then like squeezes in or something. I'm not sure. That could be one idea. Oh, you're talking about the digits could be sliding in and sliding out. Yeah, that's a good idea. I've seen some other people doing that. I could do that. We could make each text element could be, or each character could be a text element. We could animate it a certain way. I'm not sure. There might be a better way to do that animation, actually. Yeah. Okay, I wonder. That's kind of cool. I hadn't seen that yet. Is like it kind of animates whenever it's counting down as well. Yeah, I like that. I'm trying to imagine what the, because so one interesting problem is separating the animation when we're dragging it, because I feel like here you don't want any partial filling of the tick marks, but when it's counting down, it might make sense. Maybe it's not just the milliseconds, it's just like a fading away of it. Like maybe we could try that real quick. So where are we doing this? In here. Yeah, it's kind of annoying because of the, like, you know, it's possible, of course, but doing it with the sweep. Well, I guess I could draw 2 lines. I could draw 2 lines, one with the off brush and then one with the sweep, and then the sweep would just be you know, some percentage of the way. I don't know. I'm gonna think about this more. It's getting a little bit late. I'm getting hungry. I'm gonna go eat some food, but I feel like this is a cool spot, right? So I might do more with this example, but I'm not sure what that is yet. So thanks for the ideas, though. Yeah, so I'm gonna go grab some food. I'll be back on some other time, probably later this week. But thanks everyone for stopping by, and I will talk to you all later.